Fantasy, Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy, Fantasy, Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy, 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 Final Fantasy, 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 Fantasy. Yes, that had to be done. So yeah, welcome to my review of the Final Fantasy 1 for, not for the NES, but for the iPod, iPhone, iPad, PSP. Because the iPod, iPhone, iPad version is the same as the PSP version. I have come to the conclusion of that because I watched the walkthrough of that. No, I didn't use a walkthrough. Yes, I actually did, because the game is too hard. Like, where the hell do you need to go? It doesn't, well, it does kind of say where you need to go, but it doesn't give you directions. Like for example, like Morrowind did the directions like, you need to go to that city and then go northwest and do stuff. Oblivion was like, oh hey, look, there's a compass, you need to go there. Final Fantasy is just like, okay, we're gonna give you some hints, but we're not gonna say where you need to go exactly. So I was like, yeah, fuck that, I'm just gonna open a walkthrough and look where I need to go there. And anyways, Final Fantasy 1, at least the remake that I'm talking about, is a fine, really fine game. Really good RPG actually. It's not like all those other boring RPGs. Yes, I'm talking about you, Final Fantasy 14, but you're an MMO, so why the hell am I talking about you? Because I was actually talking about Final Fantasy 12. Final Fantasy 12. Nah. It was nah. It was not good, but bad either. At least in my opinion, but yeah. So for this review I'm gonna go into 5 details this time, not 4 details like the story, graphics, music and gameplay. No, this time I'm gonna go in the gameplay, music, story, graphics, and originality of enemies, because well it's an RPG, you need to have originality. So we're gonna start off with the graphics. Now, the graphics for this version, I mean, they are very good. It's a very good reimagination of the first Final Fantasy game. I personally loved how the bosses looked, the new layout of the bosses, how they looked and all. I also really loved how all the dungeons looked and the backgrounds for the battles, you know. Which the battles were actually kind of exciting sometimes. Like they weren't like those fights that you're just like, oh well, I need to tap the A button again, or I need to tap the A button really fast so I can kill this guy. No, it was not boring like that. Actually, like the backgrounds really made some difference in the battles, actually, for me. So, I'd give for the graphics, I'd give it a 1. I'd give it its full potential. So that's already 1 point for Final Fantasy 1. For the IPSP, I'm just gonna call it that, yeah? Okay. I'm just gonna call it for the IPSP, okay? That's just my version of it. So now let's go over the story. Now this is one of the first RPGs that actually came out on a console, so of course it's the same in the remake, because why make a remake of the game and then make the story different? I don't know why you would do that. That's for Zero Mission. It worked fine though, so I don't really care. It was an RPG, but yeah, anyway. Anyways, let's go further. The story, you had to rejuvenate the 4 crystals of the Earth to let the Earth be whole again. And from what I understood of it was that Garland, the first boss that you fight, like the cycle is you kill Garland, you kill Garland, the 2,000 year back in the time Garland sends the 4 fiends of the Earth, and you battle them. You go 2,000 years back to fight Garland, the ultimately Chaos actually. Garland, Chaos, it's kind of the same person. Which he kills you, then sends himself back in time, tells himself sort of to, well, he sends himself forward in time actually, tells himself to die again, no. He tells himself to go back in time to tell himself to send the Earth fiends to let the cycle be a whole again. It's kind of complicated like that, but I really like the story. It could be more big, you know. It could be more big, like it could be a whole backstory about the volcano and the shrine underwater. Like the only story that was actually like released of the underwater shrine was that once mermaids lived there, and now not. And once you revive the crystal, there still are no mermaids there. Like, rejuvenating the crystals does nothing. It does nothing to the Earth. Like, there is even one city, which I forgot the name of, and it is totally wrecked by the Earth crystals' power that has been, like, gone, you know, by Lich. But if you rejuvenate that crystal, it does absolutely nothing for that town. Like, it's still in its stupid shape. I don't know why that is. It's also the only city without a church, which that's the only way to heal your party members apart from having a Phoenix down. So I really like the story, but you could have at least given us more backstory about the places. Like, the backstory for the Flying Fortress was really cool, like how there was like a whole civilization there, which is now all gone, but it's still in one city, like Luflane, something, Luflane, yeah, Luflane, I think it was Luflane. Yeah, Luflane, all those people are still there, so that's really cool. I like that. That's the city of robots and air people and dragons, and they still live together in like one city. The rest of the city is just humans or pirates. Which I thought it was pretty cool. So I'd probably give the story 0.8. 1 point being the maximum. So the game has scored 1.8 score for now. Now let's go over the originality of the monsters. Now, personally, I always think that originality for monsters in RPGs is one of the biggest points, but the music is also a very big point. The gameplay also really. The enemies, how they look like. The first enemy you'll encounter is a goblin, of course. It's a Final Fantasy game. What first enemy do you have? It's a goblin. Looking at Final Fantasy, but right now it is a big robot mechanical. Machine guns. Oh god. Why were there no goblins? Why were there no goblins in Final Fantasy? Ah! Why? Seriously, what's wrong with you? But anyways, the originality for the monsters are sometimes kinda lame actually. Like, there's one monster that's called Hellosaurus, and how I pronounce hello is kinda like the way I pronounce hello. So it's kinda like the Dinosaurus is kinda like inviting, like, hello, I'm gonna kill you now. I don't really like that. I don't know if they did it on purpose or if it's just my brain damage. I don't know. I don't know if it's my brain doing that, but I just find it funny. And overall, the enemies look kind of cool actually, especially the elemental enemies. Not counting the tornado kind of things. I don't know. Those kind of things all out to me. But once you finish the second dungeon and come to about the third dungeon, I think, yeah, the third shrine, the water crystal shrine. Once you come to that place, it's pretty. The enemies get like recolored with just different colors, different stats, but it's the same enemy. It looks the same, has a different color, has different stats, so they call it a new enemy. Well, I think that's not the new enemy. It's still the same. You just recolored it and gave it new stats. Nothing new. You may even gave it new attacks, but I don't care. It's still the same enemy. That's the whole problem I have with RPGs these days. And back in the day. Because back in the day they still had recolors of enemies. Yeah, otherwise I think it's fine, so I'd give it a 0.7, which is about average for an RPG. So the enemies kinda average. not good or anything. It's kind of average, not the best. So 2.5 until now. Now I'm gonna go about the music. Now the music is freaking amazing. I love the music. It is awesome. Nobuo Uematsu, you have done another great job. You've outdone yourself once again with the remixes. Like the songs back in the day were freaking awesome, but now it's just even better with these remixes. For instance, like the dungeon songs, boss battle music, awesome. We even have like remixes of the boss themes of Final Fantasy 4 and 3 and 6 and 5, I think. I don't know anymore because I haven't played through it yet. I've only played the main story. I've gone through the Earth Gift Shrine or something like that. I've gone through that one. I'm currently doing the Hellfire items. I'm really bad at remembering names. Yeah, the music is freaking awesome. Just the final boss theme is also freaking amazing. The shop team. If the shop team was actually playing in normal shops like in here, you know, like in the real world, I would be a woman and stay there for 2 hours looking at stuff just to hear that song all the time. It's an awesome song. I just love it. I love that song too. I just love it. I mean, about it, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I just love the songs. I love the music in the game. So I give it a 3. I give it a 3 out of 3. So the game now has a 5.5, which is a good one. Now we're still on to go into the gameplay, which games are most of the times all about gameplay. Not looking at you, Call of Duty, because you're more about graphics these days. Not that I liked you back in the day, but never mind. Never mind me talking about Call of Duty, because probably 1 or 2, 10 of my subscribers like Call of Duty, I don't know. But I don't really like Call of Duty. And here I am talking about Call of Duty while I'm reviewing Final Fantasy. I seem to do that a lot, don't I? Like talking about different games while I'm reviewing one game. I think that's one of the curses of reviewers, talking about different games while they're reviewing a game. Seriously, it's something that's wrong with it. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I don't know what the hell's wrong with other reviewers, but we just do that. I don't know, it's just automatic. It's automatic, but I really love the music in the game, and the gameplay is also great. I personally loved the whole atmosphere of the game and how it played too. Like you had a protect spell that only protects one particular person, but if you get the upgrade for that Cortera, you can protect all of your party members, so you don't have to do it 4 turns after all the time. You know, you don't have to do 4 turns. You just have 1 turn. Same goes for invisible. It only works for 1, and then when you get invisible, it works for everyone. Same goes for cure. No, cure is just 1 person. Like you have heal, which you have normal heal, Healara, and Healaga. You don't have Healaja. You do have cure, Curaga, and Curaja. Curaja is the spell that gives back all your health. Not of the whole party, because that spell is not there. Like Healaga, if you're like around level 46 battalion now, it heals around 300 HP, which is pretty good because I think the maximum HP amount for this game is 999, which is kind of funny because if you use an elixir to maximize your health, or if you have Couragia, it does 9,999. I don't know if it actually goes further than 999, but I guess it only goes to 999 because it isn't going that far every level. For instance, the Red Wizard or the Red Mage, its HP stats suck. It's like the worst. Even a White Wizard has more HP than a freaking Master or Monk. Like, what the hell is wrong with this? I don't know what happens to Red Mages. I always love Red Mages and Red Wizards in all the other Final Fantasy games, but what the hell happened to you guys? Did you guys suddenly fail or something? I don't know. That's just another thing. Some spells are only available for the White Wizard, some spells are available for White Wizard and Red Wizard. For Red Mage and White Mage, of course. And there are also some Black Magic that is only available for black wizard or black mage. But then you have some spells like, for instance, instant kill attacks, you know, like that are only for the black wizard or black mage. So that's really cool. I love how the game does that. Which another thing, I also love how they even include different dungeons, like the Earthgate Shrine and the other shrine. Like those things unlock once you if you beat Lich, you unlock the Earthgate Shrine. If you beat Marilith, you unlock the Fire Shrine. And every shrine has its own amount of dungeons, floors. Precious too, so I highly recommend it for you to go shooting different times. Because most of the times there are 4 bosses in them, at least in the Earthgate Shrine there are 4 bosses. But every time you beat one of those bosses, you instantly get teleported out of the dungeon, so you have to do the thing all over again. Beat another boss, and do it all over again. I completed the Earthgate Shrine, I got every treasure out of it. I even got one thing I hate about the Earthgate Shrine is the freaking death. That game just sucks. It's a maze. Holy shit, is it a maze? I was stuck in it for like 30 minutes one time. I was stuck in it for 40 minutes sometimes. And then we have the bosses for those. It's kind of interesting because the bosses for those are the 4 main bosses of Final Fantasy III. Which is pretty amazing. I love how they did it, and even the boss music is in there from Final Fantasy III, which I personally is one of my favorite themes actually. Not up to the top 5 of my Final Fantasy boss themes, but it's still in the top 10 probably. Final Fantasy IV boss theme probably higher above that, but still, I just love the remix of it, like how it's kind of rock-like with the guitar. I think it's probably performed by the Black Mages band, which is also Uematsu's band. So I really love how the music from the other games and the bosses from the other games just get put inside one game, and the Fire one is with all the Final Fantasy IV bosses, which I think is kind of a shame because they didn't bring back the theme's music, which I like more than the boss battle music. They just brought back the boss battle music, but I don't care because the boss battle remix is amazing. I love it. I loved it. I don't have it on my computer though, that sucks. But I have all the other songs of the game. So I love the music of that. I just love it. I also love how they just bring back other bosses from other games. I just love that. And then I had some kind of fails though. Like when I beat Lich, I thought like, oh, I need to go to that Earthgate Shrine, which I already found at the beginning of the game. Because it's exactly at the beginning of the game. You can go inside there. You can't go inside the Earthgate Shrine itself. You can't go in the entrance. You can't do anything there. There's a dwarf there that talks some kind of accent that I can't understand sometimes. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of the accent they call it. So I really love that, and I also had another fail in the final dungeon, because when you go into Chaos Shrine the second time, you know, for the final boss, which I still haven't beaten. I tried to beat him, but I didn't have enough items at the time, and he also kicked my ass. He was only at 500 HP left, but then he was like, oh, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do a true dungeon. I was like, fuck. Okay. Now I'm just trying for I was like around level 35, 56, a little bit. I'd say you probably want to be around level 50, if not good at RPGs. I'm quite good at RPGs, but at the best, if you're quite good at RPGs, it's probably the best one for the average level. If you fight every enemy encounter, which is one way from that, you fall down to level 20. Because I was level 20 after the first one, so yeah, that's 80 something. But yeah, I had to fail there because I walked inside. There was a guy there that walked through the back of the room, opened the door there, and I was like, oh, I guess that's dungeon. And I was like, how did this happen? Like, I thought this was a remake. So I go inside there and find out. Well, I didn't find it out by then, but like I find out that it's a whole entire new dungeon. I was like, oh, awesome! So you guys like made a whole new final dungeon. So I played it. I already sucked at it because I was on level 35, like I said. I already sucked at it because, well, the dual knights basically owned my ass. But I still loved it. I like how it has puzzles and how you have to sacrifice some abilities to get more time to solve those puzzles. Time still costs if you're fighting, so don't go take a piss when you're fighting or something. Don't go take a piss. That's basically my like. If you're starting like if you're gonna start the dungeon at a time, make sure you have a lot of time on your hands. Like make sure you have at least 3 hours of playtime on your hands. If you don't, then well, you can't save in that place. So that's the whole problem. You can't save in it. You just can't save in it. I died there. I had to like save. And then I went in a movie actually after that. I was like, oh, so that's like the side dungeon. I don't get more about it. And it says you probably want to be about around 60, around level 60 plus. So I was like, oh, no shit. I was level 35. Yeah. I really love that. I also love that how they brought back the bosses to the final dungeon. I know they did it in the first game too, but it's kind of more obvious in this way because well, it kind of has pillars around it, except for Tiamat. Tiamat was like I was just walking around in the floor where Tiamat appears, and I was like, I thought I got it right. Holy shit, Tiamat! What the fuck are you doing here? I haven't healed yet. Shit. So I didn't get my ass kicked probably because Tiamat isn't that hard. The game isn't that hard actually until you get to the final part of the game or the secret dungeons of the game, because otherwise the game is not that hard. But yeah, I really love that. I didn't get the treasures in the final dungeon because I was just like, I want to finish the freaking game now. I've been playing this for 30 hours now. It's a fun game, but goddamn, it's just taking so long. The game is long. I mean, they didn't put more stuff in there to let it be longer since it's a newer game. The NES version was this long too. Like an NES game. Think about this, an NES game of more than 25 hours of gameplay. That is amazing for an NES game. So otherwise I think I'd give this game, well, the gameplay is 4 points to the gameplay is to its fullest, it's awesome, it's perfect in my opinion. So I'd give it a 9.5, which is, I think it's the highest number I've ever given to a game on my reviews. So that's my review on Final Fantasy 1 for the PSP. So I'll see you guys next time.